Welcome back, guys. Today I'm going to show you guys an easy way to install Bluetooth audio into your car for less than $15. And the best part is that it's going to be hidden and it's not going to take up the only 12 volt socket that you have in your car. Okay guys, so let's get started with what we need for this project. On the far left hand side, we have the add circuit. And what this is, it's just a simple adapter that allows you to piggyback off of an existing fuse on the fuse panel of your car. So you can see that there are the blades there that simulates a fuse, and there's two sockets which will allow you to add fuses A and B. So two circuits. The red wire, of course, is the 12 volt power that you're going to be getting from your fuse panel. From there, we have the USB cigarette lighter adapter. So this thing is basically taking 12 volt power from your car and converting it into 5 volts for whatever USB device that you plug into it. And then moving on, we have the Bluetooth audio adapter. And this is what needs that 5 volt power. And finally, on the right hand side, we have the 3.5 millimeter male to male stereo cable. And I found this thing at the dollar store. It's 6 feet long and it's the longest one I could find there. And it should be able to reach the auxiliary port that I have on my stereo system to wherever I decide to hide that Bluetooth audio adapter. Okay guys, so the first thing we need to do is we need to disassemble this USB cigarette lighter adapter. And this should be very quick and easy to do. Most of these will come apart the same way. Mine comes apart by twisting off this top chrome piece, and then I can see that there is a parting line in the plastic down the center. I'm just going to be able to pry this thing apart. There we go. And what we're left with here is the guts of the USB cigarette lighter adapter. And so you'll see on the one end where the USB cord would normally go, and on the other end you'll see two contacts. So these guys here on the side are the ground contacts, which would normally make contact with the outside ring of your cigarette lighter in your car. And then in the center you'll see one contact here, and this is where we're going to be applying 12 volts power. So with this apart, now we're going to prepare to solder two wires, one to the 12 volt contact and the other to the ground. So what you want to do is you want to prep two wires, a positive and a negative, that we're going to be soldering to the PCB board. I'll show you guys where in a second. But before we go ahead and do that, you want to take your chrome trim ring, because we're going to be installing this all back into the plastic body at the end. Hopefully you didn't break that. You're going to push the two wires through the chrome piece, and then we can go ahead and solder these two ends to the PCB board. Now for the 12 volt positive wire, the other end of this wire, we are going to solder on the red wire from the add a circuit fuse adapter that I showed you earlier. So with two wires soldered on, we can now put this back in the original case. So it just kind of falls into place here. And I'm going to be running the wires through the center channel. and the top piece should just snap into place, like so. And with the top piece snapped into place, we can now take that trim ring on the bottom and screw it back down. And so at this point, you should have a simple assembly with your USB cigarette lighter adapter, 2 wires coming out, obviously one positive going to the fuse adapter, and the other one negative, which just goes to a ring terminal that of course we're going to ground in the car. At this point, I may also wrap a bit of electrical tape around this assembly here to make sure that it never comes apart. Alright guys, so with the Bluetooth wiring harness now complete, it's time to install this thing on your car. I've located the fuse panel in the interior of my car, and I've pre-selected a fuse that only turns on with the key in the accessory on position. You do not want to pick a fuse where the power is constantly on, and this could drain your battery by leaving that Bluetooth adapter constantly plugged in. So I would suggest maybe selecting the fuse for your radio. I was able to find the fuse for my cigarette lighter, and this is perfect because again, it's only on with the key in the accessory on position. So you can see I've used the ATA circuit, it's located right there. I've plugged it into that fuse that I selected, and you'll see now there's 2 fuses. There's one 3-amp fuse for the Bluetooth adapter, and in the first slot there is the 20-amp fuse for the original cigarette lighter adapter. And so the second thing to take care of is this ground wire, and underneath your dashboard you should be able to find another grounding point that you can tap into and piggyback off of. It's really hard to see under there, so I won't be able to show you guys, but I did locate a bolt, and basically I'm just going to loosen it off, slide this thing under the bolt head, and tighten it back down, and that should give me a good enough ground. And so the last wire that you need to connect and route is the 3.5mm stereo jack wire. And you can see here in my glove box, I have a auxiliary input. And for some people it'll be on the front of their stereo. In my case, like I said, it's in my glove box for some weird reason. But this allows me to hide the wire quite well. So I'm running it from my glove box underneath the dashboard over to the driver's side where the fuse panel is located, and that's where we're going to plug it in to that Bluetooth audio device. So the very last thing to do here is connect the other end of the 3.5mm stereo jack into your Bluetooth adapter, which then of course plugs into the cigarette lighter adapter. And you can see under my steering column that I have them sticking out right now just to show you guys where I have it located. But of course, I'm going to push that back in so you cannot see it, and I'm going to zip tie it into place. And that pretty much concludes the stealth install of your Bluetooth adapter. Of course, when the car turns on, the Bluetooth adapter should power on, and of course you just connect to it with your phone just like you would any other Bluetooth device. Okay, so let's turn the keys into the accessory on position and make sure that the blue light starts flashing on the Bluetooth adapter. My cigarette lighter adapter also has a red indicator light, so you may see that shining too. Okay, so I'm going to turn the ignition back off. And as you can see, the blue light was flashing. You may have seen some red glow from the cigarette lighter adapter as well. And that means everything is on, and should be as simple as just connecting to this device like any other Bluetooth device with my phone and hitting play in my case, iTunes, since I have an iPhone. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Enjoy your Bluetooth audio. Please like this video and be sure to check out some of my other tutorials.